Hello, welcome back. So I wasn't even going to do one video on the brace rule, but I did, and I think that it's time to really just dive into what the ATF says on their website about what is happening in their view and in their opinion. And follow along with me if you'd like to. Go to the ATF website, atf.gov, go to their homepage, click on what we do, and then rules and regulations, and you'll get to factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces. And of course, are the ATF citing the NFA and the Gun Control Act of 1968? They are. But listen to this, the main reasoning why they're trying to get rid of this is because if you have a pistol length AR and you attach a stabilizing brace, they then say it's more safe and less concealable if you remove the brace, and now you have your buffer. And they're mad because you're able to shoulder this like you would an SBR, and they say that this is the absolute functioning of a stabilizing brace is to shoulder that. But look at that, isn't that ludicrous? This is much more concealable and you can still shoulder this guy. That's wild. That's wild. Their reasoning behind all of this is absolutely ludicrous. So, is the ATF a bunch of nonsense, and are they citing the wrong things, and do they have the wrong opinion on all of this? Absolutely they do. But let's look at it. Let's look at it together. Follow along with me, and in this video, we're just going to go over their face sheet here, because there is kind of a quick start guide that they provide for you here in the factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Let's go. All right, so it says on January 13th, 2023, the Attorney General signed ATF Final Rule 2021R-08F, factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces, amending ATF's regulations to clarify when a rifle is designed, made, and intended to be fired from the shoulder. The final rule was published in the Federal Register on January 31st, 2023. So right there, you will see that they are talking about the entire firearm. They say the rifle, and with the attached stabilizing brace and the criteria for such. In the rest of this, they will have you thinking that they are talking about the brace entirely. But that's really what we're talking about here. Don't miss that. That's what they're saying, is that the rifle itself. So is this illegal to have on its own? The thing that I'm holding in my hand? I hope not. No, it isn't. It isn't. It's not. That's not illegal to have on its own. It's when you attach it to a shorter length barrel than 16 inches, I think is the magic number they want to go with. All right, let's keep going. And then it says the rule outlines the factors ATF would consider when evaluating firearms equipped with a purported stabilizing brace, in quotes it says here, or other rearward attachment to determine whether these weapons would be considered a rifle or a short-barreled rifle under the Gun Control Act of 1968, or a rifle or firearm subject to regulation under the National Firearms Act. The rule's amended definition of rifle clarifies that the term designed, redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder includes a weapon that is equipped with an accessory, component, or other rearward attachment, e.g. a stabilizing brace, that provides surface area that allows the weapon to be fired from the shoulder, provided other factors as listed in the definition indicate the weapon is designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder. So there's a lot there, and they are citing the Gun Control Act of 1968 and the NFA. So they're not saying if anymore. They're saying that these stabilizing braces are, in fact, manufactured, made, intended, designed to make your pistol into a short-barreled rifle. That's their determination, period. Whether you like that or not, which I don't like that, and I'm sure thousands, if not millions of y'all don't like that either. Now, why is this an issue? Why is this such a big deal? Well, that was named in a couple of other videos that I did on this, which I didn't intend to do in the first place. But why is it a big deal for law-abiding citizens who aren't going out and causing a bunch of trouble with these things? Well, one of the reasons I spoke of earlier, and again, it's anecdotal, but it speaks to the logic and reasoning of the ATF. And that was because they think by removing this and keeping your buffer that it is less concealable. So when you remove this, it actually becomes more concealable. And I like to think of myself as a logical type thinker. And what does less mass on the back of your rifle mean? Less or more concealable? It should be upsetting. This should be a big deal. All right, let's go on, because this part is actually kind of a ray of hope in a lot of ways, but I wouldn't put a lot of trust in the ATF at this point anyway, but it's kind of a ray of hope to why the brace was developed in the first place. So let's look at this. This rule does not affect stabilizing braces, in quotes, that are objectively designed and intended as a stabilizing brace for use by individuals with disabilities and not for shouldering the weapon as a rifle. Such stabilizing braces are designed to conform to the arm and not as a buttstock. However, if the firearm with the stabilizing brace is a short-barreled rifle, it needs to be registered no later than May 31st, 2023. So just at face value, they give you this kind of quick start guide, and you look at it and it says, yeah, if you're disabled and it is truly meant for your to be stabilized on your forearm here, you just undo this. Man, mine's one of the difficult ones. There we go. You put it on your forearm, there you go. Boom. Is that what they mean? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they've got other tricks up their sleeve. And how are they going to prove that? How are you going to prove that? How are you going to say, yeah, I have a disability, here's my disability card or something. And then, you use one of these and they say, nope, those are out. Can't do that. And again, they'll say that these aren't banned by any means, but, you couple it once they say you can do that on their face sheet, and then you do that, and now you're going to jail or prison for 10 years because they say one thing on their website. And so you go for it and you do it, and then what? Well, maybe they have a special design in mind. Maybe it's different than this, but they don't give you that right away on here. So let's keep going. Says this rule is effective on January 31st, 2023, the date it was published in the Federal Register. Any weapons with stabilizing braces or similar attachments that constitute rifles under the NFA must be registered no later than May 31st, 2023. Or the short barrel removed and a 16-inch or longer rifle barrel attached to the firearm, or permanently removed and disposed of, or alter the stabilizing brace such that it cannot be reattached, or the firearm is turned into your local ATF office, or the firearm is destroyed. So here's what everybody's been talking about with kind of the 4 things that they give you an option for. You can destroy this thing so it's unrecognizable. You can just remove it if you'd like. You can destroy your firearm completely, or you can turn it all into the ATF. And then the final option is that you attempt to register this SBR, short barrel rifle is what they're calling it. When, if you remember, they weren't calling it an SBR before, but now they are. But here's one thing to pay attention to in this paragraph. It says it's effective on January 31st, 2023. So it's already taken effect. So if you still have one of these on your pistol, and it's bracing your pistol, brace yourself, because they're not going to like that. And that's the difference, you see, is that it's already gone into effect, but they're giving a grace period for Amnesty registry. And so they say they'll flip the bill, the 200, And there are many, many, many issues and underlying and just insidious stuff that the ATF is not telling you when it comes to attempt at registering your pistol as now an SBR. And that was covered in the other couple of videos that I did with some of the anecdotal evidence and the historical just understanding of what the ATF actually does to people. And so if you haven't seen those two yet, go check those out if you'd like, if you have the time. If not, fine. If you do have the time, comment down below what you think about Joe Biden. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done with this. Who is affected by the rule? It says unlicensed possessors. Federal firearms licensees, FFLs, not under the NFA as a Class 1 importer or Class 2 manufacturer, SOT. FFL importers or manufacturers under the GCA that are qualified under the NFA Class 1 importer or Class 2 manufacturer, SOT, and certain governmental entities. There's a lot there with the whole unlicensed possessors thing. We're not going to get in that today. And continuing on, it says, what do you need to know? Affected parties are provided a range of options to remain in compliance with Rule 2021R-08F. ATF has provided this quick reference sheet to provide these options. For questions not answered by the reference sheet, we have provided a comprehensive list of frequently asked questions. What are some of the types of commercially available firearms with attached stabilizing braces that are short barrel rifles? And so they got a link for you to click there. What are some of the types of common weapon platforms with attached stabilizing braces designs that are short barrel rifles? And so they have kind of a slideshow there that's kind of cool to look at. You get to see all of these awesome pistols, but they are naming some of the top manufacturers of these things. You got CMMG, you got PSA, you've got all kinds of just excellent firearms manufacturers, and they've got their pistols on their website as SBR short barrel rifles. So it's kind of a sweet collection to look at, but it's also very disheartening to look at. And yes, there are AKs in that as well. So that's another thing that may have escaped the thought and awareness of a lot of people who just think this is for ARs, and they have their short barrel AK pistol, and now that's coming along on the right as well. And then it says, how do I complete an eForm 1 application? So they give you a link for that as well. Then they have some related sources. They got some new stuff on here. There's plenty of new stuff, it looks like. And so they're just constantly adding to this and manipulating it. They have certain things on here, like one of them, it says new commercially available firearms equipped with a stabilizing brace that are short barreled rifles, and etc. And then they do actually add in some really kind of helpful information here. They do provide the Gun Control Act of 1968 as a quick link, National Firearms Act. There's a rules and regulations link, and I believe that just leads you right back to this page. Then there's a regulations.atf.gov. And then they give you ways to contact them, which does not sound like a fun time at all. So there it is. There's your quick reference factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Doesn't sound like a good time to me, but it did seem like this video needed to be made for individuals who really don't want to look at all this stuff, but they would rather, after a long day of work, come home and watch a video. Probably not the most satisfying information to hear after you've worked all day and are providing for yourself and your family. A young man or woman working, and you're a productive and functioning citizen in America, and you want to exercise your rights and be able to maintain your God-given rights. But now you got to deal with this stuff. So I hope this video made it a little bit easier in that sense. And let's hope that these lawsuits continue and that this nonsense just gets dealt with so we can all go back to how we should be able to live as citizens in America. Without the constant flip-flop, without them telling you one thing one day and then completely changing it the next, and then giving you arbitrary solutions to the problem that they created in the first place. And so that's all I got for now. Take care. God bless.